Alright guys, welcome back. We are doing yet another tier list, this time for patch version 0.4.4. This is the hot fix after the item ADC and assassin item reworks. So we're just gonna go in order as per usual. And again, also as per usual, we have the tiers the best. This is for characters that are like so in a tier of their own, they need to be highlighted and talked about. Then we have S, A, B, C, D, and F. F is if you're picking this character, you're actively trying to throw your games. Which I don't think we've had an F for a while. So Countess. Countess actually is in a pretty decent spot right now, where I think she's pretty valuable. I almost even want to say S, but I'm just gonna put her in A due to kind of, in my opinion, the best tank in the game and just the overall general situation with tanks, which we'll talk about in a bit when I get towards like Muriel and Richter and all those characters. So I'm actually gonna put her in A. She's super strong. I'm a big fan of Countess right now. Also, that she's super strong is that she's super good into characters that want to be picked. Then we got Crunch. Man. This is tough. I kind of want to put Crunch in S, but I also want to put him in just in best. I think I'm going to put Crunch in best. There's something to be said about how mobile Crunch is. Like, that's always something that needs to be talked about. The amount of CC chain he has just in his own kit, he can stun you twice, knock you up, like back to back to back. Augmentation's insane. Mutilator's still good. Salvation's an insane item. Void Helm just got buffed. This character is wildin'. Now, they did just nerf augmentation a bit, so maybe he isn't the best. It needs to be highlighted on his own, but until I'm proven otherwise, I think this character is in just the upper echelon in a tier of his own. He's out there. Decker. I'm gonna put in. I think I'm gonna put Decker in A. Solid support. Does kind of everything you'd want her to do in the current meta. Long range stun's super good. Cage is super good against a lot of the characters who are super viable right now. Decker's really good. I'd say she's just a step out of S. Drongo, can we just hold on? Let's just do this. ADCs are super strong right now. Like, ADCs are insane. I kind of want to move Murdoch down to A, but it is what it is. Because I think Murdoch is notably worse than the other three. ADCs are super cool right, super strong right now. Like, they're cracked. Their one-shot potential is kind of crazy. Just for that being said, all ADCs are S. If you on your team have an ADC that is good at the game, you probably just won the game. Like, competitively, if your best player on the team is your ADC, you're putting a lot of your play into your ADC to get them ahead. It's insane. Now, before the rework, it was kind of whatever ADC got to their first item first, typically Kingsbane, won the game. Now, Kingsbane's been nerfed, so it's been kind of hindered a bit. The TTK is insane right now. Tanks die as fast as everyone else almost at this point in time, especially with Breach, though again, Breach just got nerfed a bit, but still a very good item for tanking shreds. Or for shredding tanks. So I'm going to put all the ADCs in S with an asterisk on Murdoch here. Now, Feng Mao, character I think doesn't get enough love, and I think plays really well into a lot of the characters right now. This is a bold state. I'm putting him in A. This is super bold. I could be wrong. I'm putting him in A. Again, this leans into not a lot of pure tanks are being played, and then when they are, they're very underwhelming. TTK is super short. Shields are super strong right now. Breach has been reworked. There is no anti-shield item. Muriel is probably the best support in the game. Gadget's probably the best mid laner in the game. Feng Mao loves that shit. Because here's the thing, right? If you get someone below execute threshold, that shield doesn't matter. You're gonna execute them. It doesn't matter. Feng Mao doesn't give a shit. Pain Waver rework, fantastic for Fang Mao. Additional, it starts with what, 10 flat pen, and you gain like 4 per auto. I think it caps at like, what's it cap at? Is it cap at 18? I don't know what it is. It's like a lot. You get 2 per auto maybe? You get 4% movement speed? Whatever it is. I have the game right here. Let me check. Fang Mao's crazy. New Infernum's good on Fang Mao. New Mind Razor is super good on Fang Mao. Fang Mao has gotten love. Let me look up Pain Weaver. Pain Weaver, 10 physical pen, 4 physical pen, stacking up to 4 times. Wait, hold on. You can get 26 flat pen at max stacks with this item, in theory? That's crazy. Like, that's huge for his ult. Infernum, super good for Fang Mao. Doesn't really play into his ult, but still super good. Mind Razor, great for stacking mana in the jungle for Fang Mao. I'm not a personal fan of stacking mana, but I know a lot of people are. Fang Mao's have been kind of popping off with it. Ability haste builds, super good. So I'm gonna put him in A. Could be wrong again, but I'm gonna put him in A. Faye. I'm gonna put Faye in B. I think this is the least amount of love I've ever given to Faye. I think Faye is super underwhelming. I think she is currently probably the worst mid laner of like pure mid laners, that is. There's the new, what's it called? The new support item, or support crest. Which one is it called? What is it called? Is it Tranquility or Reclamation? It's the Reclamation, right? So it's an AoE cleanse and heal. Fail, a lot of the time, just doesn't exist anymore. It's crazy. I mean, Fail's one of the best ults in the game, and the fact that Reclamation completely nullifies it, wild. Chimera's pretty good right now. Chimera eats Faye alive. I just think Faye's fallen to the wayside due to the new itemizations, due to current characters that are good. Brutal Axe is still really good. Liberator's great. I think that you just have a lot of options. Gadget. I want to put Gadget in S. I was not big on Gadget until I realized today how much of an impact not having an anti-shield item makes, especially when Muriel's in the game. Gadget alone, with Soul Bearer, Passive, and True Silver, can give herself 3 shields. If you throw a Muriel ult on that, or just a regular Muriel shield, that is so much shielding she has. I have seen a Muriel today that built full damage, or will stack mana, True Silver, it was Soul Reaper by the way, Megacosm, and I forget what the other item was. Gadget, him on Gadget took, we dumped so much into him, and he tanked it better than Release Rampage. I kid you not. Gadget is insane right now. There's counterplay to it, obviously. Gadget's super immobile, you can punish her early. Sure, having to go True Silver does reduce some of her damage. I think stacking mana is kind of underwhelming, not great. So I'm gonna put her in S. I'm not gonna put her in best. I'm gonna put her in S, but she is a problem. Gideon, I'm going to also put in S. Super safe mage. Good damage, not the best damage, but very good damage. Insanely good ult. Some people like Gideon can force out picks and draft pretty well. Gideon's all around very solid. Grux, man, honestly, if this was before the nerfs, before the hotfix, I would put Grux here. Bonesaw took a shit kicking. I feel like I'm inclined to put him in S. I'm gonna put him in S because I've still been playing it and I've still been seeing success out of him in offlane and jungle. Super good right now. Kingsbane's great. Mutilator's fine when it's useful. He's great at shutting down Rampage, great at shutting down Sevarog. Sevarog's a problem character, can become a problem character. Grux is great at shutting him down. Bonesaw was really good, but now they just nerfed it, so now it's like okay. Solid character. Don't think he's the best anymore, but I'm gonna lean into S, maybe A. Howie's solid. I'll put Howie in A. pretty safe mid laner, solid ult, decent CC. Those slow nades are annoying as shit. His pressure in lane is insane. He makes lane hell for Countess or Shinbi, or if you're going like a Sin mid, like Feng Mao. Kalari, oof. Now this is one thing that's tough. This character is so different in pubs and in a competitive setting, or like really high tier pubs even. Because if this is just pubs, S. Everyone instant to Kalari. It's free wins 24/7. But let's take everything into account here. I'm gonna put Kalari in D. I think Kalari, spoiler alert, I'm putting Kalari in D. I think Kalari is the worst character in the game. Maybe I'll look at a character and actually move Kalari to F. I think in any competitive setting, everyone should know where the Kalari is at all times, basically. You should have good ward coverage. You should have callouts. You should have had, Kalari is just so exposable. Doesn't do enough burst for how hard it is to actually succeed with the character in a competitive setting. This character is designed for pubs and is balanced around pubs, not competitive. Kalari was barely played in competitive. Then she saw a nerf. That is strictly because of pubs. This character is meant to be forgotten currently in the competitive scene. Now let's move on to Chimera, who I think is also an S. Kingsbane Chimera is insane. We've lost a lot of diversity with Chimera's builds, I believe. But Kingsbane is just such a good item for Chimera. Loves it. Kind of similar to Sky Splitter even. Did just get nerfed. Otherwise, we would be seeing this. Jungle was very scary. I think Jungle is still very scary. So I'm going to leave them here. Not much can be said about Chimera that there isn't to be said about Grux. Other than the whole offlane aspect, I suppose. Belica. I'm sorry. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I'm putting her in the same tier as Faye. While I think at its peak, Faye is going to be better. Belica does have the drone, which can be used to eat mana in lane. Does have the knock-up, which is basically, this is all the credit I'm giving Belica. She has a really good knock-up. Whereas Faye has a slow. At the end of the day, that's all I can say. She's super immobile, super easy to gank. The only good thing she has going for her is she kind of dunks on Chimera. Muriel. Now, Muriel, I would, again, before the recent patch, I would have put Muriel in best, but I think the Wellspring and the Consecrated Ground nerf kind of just brings her down to an S. She is the best support, in my opinion. Those shields are insanely impactful. Again, no. I'm moving her back, though. I just convinced myself. Breach got reworked. There's no anti-shield item. The most absurd balance decision I have ever experienced. And I played Smite for 7 years. Narbash is super solid. I think he's actually a little slept on. I'm going to put Narbash, basically, I value him the same as Decker. You know, he doesn't have the same peel or the same range as Decker, but that heal is insanely good. It makes for an easy advantage in the dual lane early on. It can force people who don't want to go Tainted necessarily to rush Tainted early. Now, I know Tainted Guard is arguably the best item in the game currently, but if an ADC decides to go Tainted because they really need it in the duo lane, it just slows down the enemy duo lane. Movement speed is the best stat in any MOBA. Maybe Omnivamp in Pred right now, but movement speed is the best stat in a MOBA basically. What is Narbash provides movement speed? Easier than Muriel. It's an AoE movement speed buff. You can't argue with that. Rampage has significantly fallen to the wayside. I'm going to put Rampage in A. Now, I will never say Rampage is an unplayable character, especially in a competitive scene. Rampage is insanely valuable for one thing and one thing mainly, his rock. There is something to be said about a 2-second stun, right? Around a 2-second stun that comes from Fog Wall. Or from the opposing tier 1 to your tier 1. That rock is insane. It's probably the best ability in the game. The issue is it's tied to an insanely underwhelming character right now. Yes, he has the ability to chase down with his leap. Great. His rumble slows. Great. They neutered his damage. They completely ruined Raymond of Renewal. They also nerfed / reworked Unbroken Will. They have butchered this man. Now, I've seen people playing around with Overlord and Bonesaw, which kind of makes me like him a bit more. But he just dies. TTK is too fast, and you get big and you die. Good for you. But as long as The Rock exists, I don't think he will ever not be at least A. Richter, I'm not super big on, honestly. Like, a good Richter can make this character look insane, but again, with the TTK being so fast, him being a pure tank doesn't really do much right now. Hooks are expensive as shit. If you miss a hook, you are out a good chunk of mana. Now, if you hit a hook, usually that's a kill in the duel lane, not necessarily always, but people should be playing around your hook. Richter's sad. Richter's just sad right now, unfortunately. Sevarog also fallen to the wayside. I think a lot of the issue with Sevarog, while he is a good character, I think Sevarog is a good character. I didn't even put it up to me. Sevarog's annoyingly difficult to kill from ahead. The issue is Crunch, Grux, and kind of Chimera are what, his 3 best counters. Well, look who's at the top. Again, TTK is too fast. The nice thing about Sevarog is he has movement, and he is health oriented rather than physical armor oriented, so breach isn't really impacting him too much. Again, healing, Tainted Guard, best item in the game arguably, hurts Sevarog. Again, the same could be said for Rampage. I'm gonna put Sevarog in B. I am willing to be proven wrong on that one. Steel, I still think Steel's an S. I know he's gotten worse, and that's fine, but so much CC, a bit too mobile for how much CC he has. He can just be such a vital piece to team fights. I think he's an insanely good support. That wall is super good for sieging and defending. Super good. Steel's great. I think unless they rework him, he will, again, like Rampage, will never truly be a bad character. He's also so flexible. He can be played mid, off lane, support, and jungle. Whew. Don't get me going. Shinbi. Oh. You work good. Shinbi has definitely fallen to the wayside as well. This is tough, because I want to put her in A. And I justify putting her. I'm going to put her in A and be optimistic. I'm going to be pleasantly optimistic. Shinbi has definitely fallen off with the Megacosm changes, the fix to her circle rhythm. Both fixes are significant hits, 2 less procs. The cooldown doesn't go until it's done. She lost a lot of objective presence with Megacosm being changed, but she does still provide a lot to the team. She is sort of like this weird hybrid of sustained fighter / assassin. She has flexibility with builds. She values from Worldbreaker, which is a great item against CC heavy comps. Her mobility is insane, that double dash. She is one of the best chase downs of any jungler in the game. Her damage output is solid, though not quite what it used to be, obviously. She gets a ton of value off Wraith leggings. Her ult's insane. Really great for securing kills. Still one of the faster jungle clears in the game, just when it comes to the bosses, she lacks a little bit with the cooldowns. I think Shinbi's still great. She does also provide the options of people who want to play like Sins in mid. So your Fang Mali's, your Kalaris, stuff like that, or even an ADC mid, hypothetically, because she is that AP or magical, whatever you want to call it, character. So she does open up more for your team comps as well. So there's the tier list. Let me know why you disagree with me, and where you think, you think Steel's really, really bad. You want him in F tier? Let me know, man. You think I'm wrong with Kallari? Kallari's one of the best characters. Let me know in the comments. That's all for me. Bears out. Peace! So I found this box, and I know what's in it, but I don't know if you deserve to see what's in it. Maybe you do, just because you made it to the end of the video. Oh, isn't it great? Look what was in the box. That's just awesome. Look at it. It's so cool.